Lovely ho internet, this is the Orpig coming to you, and this is the second part of the question I gotta ask with how much should I eat on days I train, or my calorie intake on the days I train. And when I hear that question, the first thing I always think of is that picture of Arnold, the meme, and it says above it, he's sitting there eating, and he says how many calories, how much protein should I eat in a day, and at the bottom it says all of them. Right? I love that picture. I want to put it up in my kitchen for motivation when I eat. Okay, so how much protein should you eat? All of them, especially on days that you train. Right now, I've got to do a correction. In the past, I said how I didn't want to eat carbs late at night. I didn't want to ingest carbs which are converted to energy late at night because my body wouldn't use them, and that's wrong. I was wrong. I did research. I read more articles. I'm constantly learning and evolving. And it actually doesn't matter when you ingest carbs, just as long as it fits your macros, if you're counting that, your fat, sugar, protein. As long as it fits it, you're okay. You're okay to burn it. And at night, they say that our metabolism it slows down a little bit, but not that much. Your body is still sustaining life. You're still breathing. Your heart's still beating. You sweat a lot if you're like me or anybody else, because at the end of the day, even if you weigh yourself late at night, you're heavier than when you wake up in the morning. And the reason of that could be digestion of food, but most of the time it's because we sweat fat off of us when we sleep, and that's why mattresses are so disgusting. So it doesn't matter when you ingest your carbs, just that it fits your macros or it fits your caloric intake. What you want to be careful of, though, with your calories is on days you don't train. So if you work out a schedule to where you're not training every day, where you have off days, on those off days, number one, you want to severely limit your carbs, okay? Even though it doesn't matter when you ingest your carbs, it doesn't matter when you ingest them if you're active. So if you're not active that day, you're not going to be, then you want to severely limit your carbs. I know that if I ever become inactive for whatever reason, like injury or surgery or anything like that, I end up in a hospital, that I am going to severely cut down my carbs, because your body is converting that to use for energy, and when you don't use it, it turns it straight to fat. So on those days that you don't train, you want to severely limit your intake of carbs. Now on the days that you do train, remember that carbs are just as important to build muscle, unless you're doing the ketogenic, which says if you get over that hump, you are actually going to efficiently burn fat as though it was carbs if you're on that diet. But you got to adhere to it strictly now. You can't be cheating and saying, well, I'm going to eat a couple of carbs, because then your body is going to use those carbs and it's going to stubbornly refuse to use the fat, okay? So if you're on that diet, then, it doesn't really matter what you ingest. And I suppose if you're ingesting the fat and the protein and you don't work out, I would just limit my calories, because at the end of the day, too, it comes down to calories intake less than what you burn. And you naturally burn so many calories. Like I said, a normal sized man generally burns about 2,000 calories. We have different body types. We do have different metabolisms and bone structure, skeletal structure, muscle structure. So we do burn different amount of calories. But on average, it's about 2,000. That's why everything's based on a 2,000 calorie diet. So on days you train, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to eat more calories to make yourself fat, but you want to make sure that you're properly fed. You want to listen to your body. So a lot of times I would always eat like a pre-workout snack. Now, I'm doing intermittent fasting and, I'm always hungry, but I would eat a little something. And, sometimes I really wasn't hungry, but I would force myself to eat thinking I need energy before I go work out. And that's not it. It's about listening to your body. And if you're not hungry, then you don't need to eat. If you finish your workout and you're not hungry, you don't need to eat right away. Okay, there's all kind of studies out there, but most of the ones that I found that are most recent, right, which we make corrections, and just like I'm always learning, science is always learning, and different tests are run, and we learn different things, is that it doesn't matter when you ingest your protein or your post-workout meal or shake or whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be immediately after. A lot of people out there were saying you need to ingest your protein shake within immediately to 30 minutes after you work out to properly let your muscles heal and everything. And that's just not the case. Now they're saying you could eat that meal as far as 4 or 6 hours down the road, and it's still going to give you the same repair process. It's still going to give you the same benefits as if you just ate it right after you finished working out. So it doesn't matter when you eat it. Now, I wouldn't skip the meal altogether. If you work out late at night and it's still within your wheelhouse or your diet to eat, then I would eat. If you're working out really late, then I would just go to bed. If you're not used to eating and you're not that hungry, I would just go to bed. Again, we do burn the calories at night, but I'm just saying, like me personally, I would listen to my body. Above all else, I think you should listen to your body. Well, aside from your doctor, before you do any diet or anything like that, above all else, I would listen to your doctor, because at the end of the day, I am not a doctor and I don't have a degree and I don't know your condition or your body type or what's going on with you to where you should always consult with a doctor first. But, on that note, I would listen to my body above everything else. And if I'm really not feeling it and I'm really not that hungry, it's okay to not eat. You ate earlier in the day probably, or you're going to eat later on when you do wake up or after you take a nap, and that's fine. Ingesting the food is going to help with your repair process. So eat when you're hungry, eat when you truly need to eat, watch your calorie intake. Remember that you should be used to eating a certain amount of calories, because you should be training more days than what you have off. So you should be used to eating more calories, and it should be that you're decreasing the calories when you don't train. Not that you're eating a small amount, and when you train, you increase it to a little bit more. I would say you need to be used to eating, a moderate amount of food, and when you don't train, decreasing that a little bit, because you're acknowledging, hey, I'm not training today, I'm not working out, so I don't need as many calories, because I'm not going to burn as many calories as on the days I do train. All right, your body needs to repair itself. It needs energy for that. It needs protein for that. It needs water for that. Make sure you're drinking water. You need to drink at least a gallon of water, and make sure you're eating your fiber. Fiber is really important. I forgot to mention that with those diets. Because some of them can cause digestion problems because they're so heavy in proteins. When you're eating a lot of protein, you need to be eating a lot of fiber. Almost 1/3 of what your protein intake should be fiber, if not half of how many grams of protein you eat should be fiber. So you need to make sure that you do that. Okay? So I hope that helped you out. Make sure you like, subscribe, drop me a line if there's any kind of video or anything you want to know about, and I'll do a video up like this for you. So this is the Orpig signing off. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, if you stuck around, it's time for another What's on My Set List? So today I'm bringing you another country song. It's Kenny Chesney, Save It for a Rainy Day. I love this song. It's an awesome song. It's upbeat. It's a good set list song. Get you in the mood, work out. Let me know what songs you listen to when you work out. I'll see you again. Bye.